Greetings and welcome to NSAI's series of talks on CE marking. It is a simple introductory guide to CE marking, providing a simplified interpretation of very complex legislation across a range of products. Ultimately, the economic operator is responsible for compliance. My name is Mary White and I am head of NSAI's Brexit unit. In this talk, I will outline what you need to know about the roles and responsibilities of economic operators as specified by the EU. This talk is the second in a series of 4 talks about placing products on the EU market. The series of talks covers what you need to know about CE marking your products, economic operators, EU legislation for different products, and how Brexit will impact on CE marking and what you can do to protect your business. Today, I'm going to focus on the different roles and responsibilities of economic operators. The first thing I want to clarify is what is an economic operator? EU legislation defines the 4 economic operators and the roles they play in placing products on the EU market. The 4 economic operators are the manufacturer, the importer, the authorised representative, and the distributor. I will examine the roles and responsibilities of each of these. I will explain the role they play in market surveillance, which is to ensure that products placed on the EU market must comply with EU legislation. EU law defines the manufacturer as the natural or legal person who manufactures a product or has a product designed or manufactured and places it on the market under his own name or trademark. The manufacturer does not need to be in the EU, they can be located anywhere in the world, but manufacturers from non-EU countries are still subject to EU product legislation when they place their product on the EU market. Remember, where the product is put on the market defines which rules it must follow, not where it is manufactured. The manufacturer is responsible for conformity assessment of the products to ensure it complies with the relevant EU legislation and for CE marking their product. The manufacturer must put together the technical file. This must include relevant design and manufacturing information, copies of all test results, the standards to which it is tested, and notified body certificates if required by EU law. The declaration of conformity must follow the format and include all of the information required by the relevant EU legislation. For example, Annex 4 of the Regulation 2017/745 sets out the information that must be included in the declaration of conformity for all medical devices. Finally, if there is a problem with a product, the manufacturer must first cooperate with the relevant market surveillance authority. For medical devices, this would be the Health Products Regulatory Authority, otherwise known as the HPRA. The importer is the economic operator established in the EU who places a product from a non-member state on the EU market. Remember that it is where the product is placed on the market that defines which rules must be followed. So the importer must follow EU legislation when placing the goods on the EU market, not the law of the manufacturer's country. An importer who places a product manufactured in a third country on the EU market in their own name becomes the manufacturer under EU law. They then take on all of the responsibilities of the manufacturer. The importer is responsible for ensuring that the manufacturer has met all of their obligations set out in EU legislation. This includes carrying out the correct assessment procedure, drawing up the technical documentation, drawing up the EU Declaration of Conformity, affixing the CE marking, fulfilling their traceability obligations, and drawing up and including the required instructions and safety information for the product in the correct language. So remember, as the manufacturer is outside the legal jurisdiction of the EU, the importer becomes the main point of contact for market surveillance, takes on the bulk of the responsibilities from the manufacturer. The authorised representative is appointed by a manufacturer to act on their behalf in carrying out certain tasks. The authorised representative must be established in an EU member state. A manufacturer from a third country can mandate an authorised representative to hold copies of their technical file. This means that they would not be obliged to give every one of their EU importers access to any intellectual property or other sensitive information in the technical file. While there is no general requirement for a manufacturer to appoint an authorised representative, EU legislation for medical devices, transportable pressure equipment and marine equipment do require a non-EU manufacturer to appoint an authorised representative. The distributor is defined under EU law as an economic operator in the supply chain who is not a manufacturer, importer or authorised representative. A distributor takes a product from a manufacturer or importer in the EU and either puts it on the market or supplies it to another distributor. Consequently, all distributors are located in an EU member state. If a distributor markets products under their own name, they take over the manufacturer's responsibility. In this case, they must have sufficient information on the design and production of the product because they will be assuming the legal responsibility when affixing the CE marking and drawing up the Declaration of Conformity. The distributor's responsibilities include knowing which products must bear the CE marking and the accompanying documentation, be able to identify products that are not in compliance, demonstrate to national authorities that they have confirmation from the manufacturer or the importer that the necessary measures have been taken. Distributors must cooperate with competent authorities in any investigations they are carrying out. This includes removing non-compliant products from the market and providing any relevant information to the relevant national authority. I have mentioned market surveillance a number of times today. It is a key to ensuring and maintaining the integrity of the EU market. It aims to prevent non-compliant products being placed on the market or to remove any non-compliant products as quickly as possible. Market surveillance protects consumers from substandard products and manufacturers from unfair competition by competitors, undercutting them by using lower standards. It is the responsibility of the member state to carry out market surveillance in their domestic market. They must include and ensure that all products meet all of the essential requirements of the relevant EU product legislation, carry out checks of products irrespective of where they are manufactured to identify and remove any that are non-compliant, and finally apply sanctions that are proportionate to the degree of non-compliance. Market surveillance is normally carried out by market surveillance authorities appointed by the government. These must be public bodies who are appropriately resourced and have the authority to take necessary surveillance and enforcement actions. At no stage can they delegate responsibility to a contractor or partner. All economic operators must not knowingly place a non-compliant product on the market and must cooperate with market surveillance authorities when carrying out their duties. As you can see, there are a number of different market surveillance authorities in Ireland, including the NSAI Legal Metrology Department, other state agencies, other local authorities, and various government departments. My talk today has outlined the main roles and responsibilities of economic operators. This table will summarise the differences in responsibilities between the manufacturer, importer and distributor. Firstly, here are the manufacturer's main responsibility. As you can see, the importers assume many of the manufacturer's responsibilities when they import products from a third country, while distributors have fewer responsibilities than manufacturers or importers, as they source their products from other economic operators already in the legal jurisdiction of the EU. Finally, further information on the roles and responsibilities of different economic operators can be found in the blue guide here. It is a comprehensive guide to the operation of the EU single market for manufactured products. As you can see, it is available on the EU Commission website. I hope you have a better understanding of what is meant by economic operators. At the end of the Brexit transition period, the role of some Irish distributors may change. This now will be covered in Series 4 of these talks. If you need further information, please contact us at www.nsai.ie. Thank you.